Welcome to Open Callers, very special Spoilercast edition of Open Caller. Tonight we'll be reviewing and spoiling Avengers Infinity War. I am Corey Bullis. He is Vishal Sheth. We have seen the movie. We will discuss right now.
Let's do it right now.
Right now, in 3.
So, thoughts, score right now out of 10. What are you saying?
Only 10?
Yes.
9.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say really, really good. 9.5 for sure. Probably still not my favorite of all of the Marvel movies, but I feel like it could be, depending on how the second one goes, if you kind of take it as one. But
so of the 19 movies, starting at 19, rank them up now. Top 5 then.
Top 5?
If this falls within the top 5.
Yeah, this is definitely in the top 5. And my other 4, like probably in no particular order, is Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Black Panther, Doctor Strange.
Lots of silence.
I don't know.
Is this so? Then this one you said is in the 5 or no yet?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's just I don't think it's my favorite one, but yeah, Guardians, Black Panther, so Doctor Strange, Infinity War, and then it's probably just Iron Man 1 because it kind of set everything in motion and it started everything off.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of good movies. A few bad ones, a few stinkers.
The Thors.
Yeah.
The first two Thors.
Yeah, this one is definitely one of the top ones. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. It's in my 5. I would have to say, Guardians. This one, first Iron Man. I might go Winter Soldier. Is that 4 right now?
Yeah.
Which one I go to a lot after that one? Guardians again.
The second one? Guardians. No, Guardians episode 1. Twice, actually.
So Iron Man, Infinity War, Guardians, Winter Soldier for sure. And probably Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. I think
Doctor Strange or Black Panther, one of those two.
Yeah, they're both they're both very good standalones that don't really incorporate the rest of the universe, and that's
just and the character of Doctor Strange
a little bit.
It's absolutely different than everything else, right? You're tapping into a whole new realm of the multiverse powers, and time and all that. And not to mention that he's kind of like more of a dick version of Tony.
Yeah,
because he's more serious.
Yeah, and I would say that Doctor Strange's character, he was one of my favorite parts of Infinity War, and I think he would have been whether I liked Doctor Strange, the standalone movie, or not. Like he played an amazing role in the movie, and I don't know. It was just he's perfect. He's cast perfectly for it.
Yeah, and his big thing about his arc in that movie is that it starts off where he flat out says I got to protect this stone. F all y'all.
Yeah, he's like I'm not going to save you guys, just so you know. Yeah. Throwing it out there.
Even 6. Yeah. And then ultimately it comes down to, does that change throughout the course of the movie?
Yeah, and why might it change?
To break the story down, for those who have seen Ragnarok, this movie picks up not exactly after, but within in terms of movie times, it's like 10 minutes worth of action sequences. Thanos and his I guess children or the Black Order basically have taken out half the surviving Asgardians. The other half are like sent off, and what we see is like just destruction of Thor's ship and a lot of bodies, and Heimdall and Thor and Loki are like the surviving Asgardians on that ship.
Yeah,
and Thanos is there looking for the Tesseract, or the Space Stone, as this movie focuses on the Infinity Stones.
So at this point, he already has the Power Stone,
yes,
which they didn't show, right? They didn't show.
No, but there's like a throwaway line later, like, "Oh yeah, a couple weeks ago he took out Xandar and got the stone."
Yeah,
which I think plays better.
Yeah, I just watched a thing today, and it was like, why don't we see him getting the Power Stone? And I guess the Russo brothers, they were like doing a Q&A at some high school, and someone asked that, and they're like, basically it comes down to, we wanted him to have all 6 of them, and it was good. It was already a long movie. There was already so many other things that he needed to do. Anyone who's seen Guardians, which they're assuming most people have, knows that the Power Stone is on Xandar, and it's an easy way to say, this is it. He didn't have to go hunting for it. He knew where it was. He did his half population destruction and took the stone. And it was that was something that we just didn't need to see as the viewers. We just needed to know, like you said, like Thor just said, oh yeah, he already took it a while ago, and he already has it.
And if you're a big fan of the comics too, is that if they eventually do go down the road of having the character Nova as...
Yes.
There you go. There's your backstory. Don't show it in this movie. Show it happening there. Show him surviving that, as being the last member of the Nova Corps, and boom.
And then, that's it.
Like, oh yeah, that's what happened like 14 movies ago.
14. Remember that movie in 2018?
Oh, good times.
Yeah. But then at that point, we see that Loki does have the Tesseract and tries to mischief his way into killing Thanos. And Thanos just crushes him and throws out a line that's like, no resurrections this time around.
Yeah.
So throwing it back to...
No mulligans.
Yeah, throwing it back to the... I don't know, how many movies have we had? 18? So 18 times that Loki has died and come back.
He was on his last guy.
Yeah, that's it. Over. And so...
Going back to like all the appearances from Loki and his character from where we started to this, redeeming arc for him, or...
I don't think so. I think that like he's like he's been
character justice is what, I guess, more or less what I'm asking.
Like he's been on the path to the redemption, right? Like Ragnarok basically.
Same thing.
I don't know.
It plays like Dark World. Like he's there to help, but then he doesn't help, but then he helps again, but then he turns his back on him, and then this one.
Yeah, like it seems like it's been happening way too often. So it's kind of, it started in Dark World, the helping, not helping, and doing it for his own. But then it's kind of, and then in Ragnarok he does it like he switches sides or whatever, like 3 or 4 times, and he's gonna be on the side of good eventually. And so even this one, it was kind of,
you saw it coming.
I figured that if he did actually give it to him, and he was trying to infiltrate and take out Thanos from the inside or whatever, but I don't think it came as a huge surprise when he tried to attack Thanos.
And then also when you watch the trailers and everything, and you see the exact same part with him throughout, you kind of feel like, oh, okay, I guess he's only in that one scene.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that's the only scene they show. You're like, all right, he doesn't have a lot.
he just somehow is the main character of the movie. They just out the whole thing. But and also during this whole Tesseract, we have a throwback to "We Have a Hulk" line.
From the first that Avengers. Was great.
And also, the only time you see Hulk throughout this movie too. Did you like that arc?
Yeah,
the
I kind of did.
Performance issues.
Yeah, I think that was good because he never really had a big loss like that. You know, I would say performance issues for sure. You know, like he
that's never happened to me before.
Kind of, I'm sure it hasn't. But he had Thanos a little bit. You know, he got a couple of punches in, and then Thanos just kind of just dummied him. And
did you think he dummied him, or was he using the Power Stone? So he's like,
well, I'm sure that was
some performance enhancers.
Yeah, I'm definitely sure that was part of it. But still, even when in Civil War, Tony had the Hulkbuster, and that still didn't really bust Hulk. And I think, what's that?
Pun,
classic. But yeah, so I think that it was definitely a performance that he's just nervous about being Hulk again.
Got his ass handed to him. He doesn't know what to do with himself.
Yeah, and doesn't think that he can. So like I think that's a pretty good arc because Banner's like pretty useful in other ways too. I still think they could have used him more, like they did in the first Avengers, where he was mostly Bruce Banner.
Mm-hmm.
Just
and with Ultron too, right?
Yeah, and he was behind the scenes for like all the sciencey stuff. And in this one, I thought they could have used more of that, but
which they just you with all the trailers too, right? With showing Hulk.
Yeah, having him. Yeah. So I thought it was still good though, and I'm excited to see where they go with using Hulk as a actual as a fighter in the second one.
No. Okay, so after Loki bites, actually just slightly before Loki bites us, we have Heimdall use the Bifrost, sending Hulk to Earth. He crashes into the Sanctum Sanctorum. That's where we run into Doctor Strange. He tells about Thanos' plan with the stones, and that's when we're then reunited with Mr. Stark, who apparently is getting married now.
Wants to have a baby.
And wants to have a baby. And so then after that we have was it Ebony Maw and the Black Dwarf show up to
Colossus.
Yeah,
something Cull.
Yeah.
Obsidian Cull. Cull Obsidian.
Yeah, Cull Obsidian. And so they show up, and then we also get a nice reintroduction to Mr. Peter Parker.
Yes.
And our Stan Lee cameo.
That's right. Bus driver.
It's freaking up. You can see a spaceship come in New York.
These
kids today.
And then so we get the first kind of real look at Peter's Spidey sense that was not present in Civil War or Homecoming.
Right.
So that's cool. It's nice to see that he doesn't just have all his powers and he's learning to use them. He's kind of getting them as it goes.
Yeah. Spotty's still going through the change.
Hair where there's 15. No hair.
Fur where there was no fur before.
And then we also get our first look at Iron Man's nanotech suit, or just
leading edge armor, as they call it in the comics. Yeah, so it's nano. The iPad
apparently
Nano.
It can just be anything it wants ever, which is great.
And it can detach and
reattach, or just blow up and build itself up again. So that's crazy. Right.
You can get his mask beaten off and it'll just grow back.
Exactly. And so then we got a pretty good street fight scene.
Yeah, so at this point now, Thanos' Black Order's split up to go after the two stones on Earth, and he's going after the Soul Stone himself.
Right.
And the Reality Stone, the Ether.
Yes,
which is on Nowhere, which we'll get to in a second.
And so the fight's great. We find out that the stone cannot be taken off of, or the Eye of Agamotto cannot be taken off of Doctor Strange because of some spell.
Yeah, it's almost like a dead man switch. I think he says something like that. Like, yeah, you can't take it off with him. As long if you kill him, you can't take it off of him or whatever.
Yeah, and so Ebony Maw gets Doctor Strange, and he's going to take him back to Titan, where Thanos is, and then they'll figure out how to get the stone that way. That's that plan. And because of chasing them down, we get Tony Stark and Spider-Man flying up to the ship, and
that's where we're introduced to the Iron Spider suit for the first time.
Oh yes.
Oh, second time since it was at the end of Homecoming.
Yep. And we get. Oh no, it's not this line. I'm waiting for when the Guardians come, because I think that's the best line in the entire movie.
Yeah, the line during this fight scene is when Tony's trying to get Bruce to Hulk out, and he can't, and then he's, dude, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards.
Yeah, that was great. So then they beat Cull Obsidian.
Yeah, so, I think Doctor Strange, Wong transports him to like the Arctic or something.
Yeah,
loses a hand.
So that's one down out of the 5. 4?
5 counting Thanos.
Right, 5. So one down, and then on the spaceship, we see another reference of Peter Parker being young and being like, hey, remember that old movie called Aliens? And that's a throwback to Civil War, where he says the same sort of, hey, remember that old movie, Empire Strikes Back? And basically the plan is to blow a hole in the side of the ship and have Ebony Maw fly out of it. Yes. And it works. So it works. Doctor Strange also gets thrown out there.
But he gets saved.
Doesn't
die with no oxygen or freezing temperatures.
It's cool.
He's a wizard.
He's a wizard.
Yeah, and then that's when Tony decides, rather than go back to Earth, they take the stone to Thanos and stop him on Titan.
And that's where we find out that Doctor Strange says, if it comes down to trading your life or the kid's life for the stone, I choose
you guys. I'm taking the stone and I'm going home.
And kind of at that point, like, you're already thinking, no way. But way. So then after that, we are in Scotland
with Vision and Wanda.
Having their little secret affair.
Jinx.
And
which I don't know if you noticed, he doesn't have an accent in this movie.
Yeah, it's like he sounded a little off.
The writer said something about like, well, she's been undercover and hiding. You since you're trying to pretend that you're not you mask it. I'm like, well, but she's alone with Vision. Like,
what does she need to?
Unless it's like his thing, like he likes her without that accent. He's an android. Who knows?
Yeah, you don't know those guys.
Yeah, so they're having their secret rendezvous throughout, and that's when Proxima Midnight Oscar.
Threat level Proxima Midnight.
And Corvus Glaive show up for the Mind Stone, which belongs in Vision's head mind.
And okay, so I don't understand. Like, Wanda seems super powerful, like insanely powerful, can do pretty much anything.
Yeah.
I don't get how she's, first of all, unable to like fend off whoever's trying to get to her.
Yeah. Well, she's the only one she got her powers from the Mind Stone that Vision has in his head.
Was it from the Mind Stone or from?
Yeah, it was from Loki's staff.
That's right.
That's
okay. That's right.
From Ultron.
Yes, and I don't know. Like, I feel like she should be able to do something, but also save Vision at the same time. Anyway, she can't.
Yeah, and we kind of seen like
she can't or doesn't want to.
Powers like blowing up at Ultron, right when Quicksilver dies, and she like freaks out and destroys all those Ultron drones. With like her emotions.
Yeah. So it's like, unless it's just, they're building towards, her also learning her powers. So, she doesn't completely know how to control everything.
No.
So there's that. But then we are reintroduced to Captain America, Falcon, and what's her name there?
Black
Widow. I don't get her. Like, I don't understand how she's alive ever.
She's got those guns. Not these guns.
And she has pistols. But
yeah, like,
I don't know. I think when it comes to
war, she was on Tony's, and then I guess in between movies, she decided, no, you know what? I'm gonna go on the run.
Well, isn't it also because in the airport, right? In the airport scene, she lets them go, right? She stops Black Panther, and she lets them go and pretty much draws the line in the sand at that point, I think. But I mean, like, her fighting skill, like hand-to-hand combat against aliens who are much stronger and have
or even like Proxima Midnight, who's like almost like not a god per se, but still an advanced being.
Exactly, and she kind of just goes toe to toe with her with nothing and survives. But that's another story.
That's for the which will never happen.
Yeah, and then we get Captain America. He's bearded up. He gets. I don't know. I thought it was a pretty decent fight scene, but again, it was one of those things where things kept happening, and I kept thinking that Scarlet Witch should be able to do more, and Vision should be able to do more.
Yeah, like he gets stabbed with one of their staffs and can't, like, this. The extent of this is he can't phase. Like, I can't phase through this. But it doesn't explain, like, you have a stone that you can zap people. Yeah. Like, unless that's affected by getting stabbed in the chest.
We don't know what was in their staffs, I guess. But still, so that whole kind of scene, like, I get it was to bring back Captain America and Falcon and Black Widow, like, to reintroduce them into the movie. I didn't love that fight scene in the little warehouse.
Well, here's the thing. Look at it this way too. If you compare the two, you have the big New York fight scene with Doctor Strange and Tony and Spider-Man, and Ebony Maw basically single-handedly gets Strange. Strange has the Eye of Agamotto and knows magic. Still captured. You have Sam, who's got robotic wings, no powers, and gun. Natasha, who's gets a hold of one of their staffs, again, no powers. And Proxima Midnight and Culvis are just like, we out.
Yeah, we can't do this.
And they don't get Vision. They're gone. They take off for basically the duration of the movie until the third act.
Yeah.
But and most of that fight scene, is those two take basically beating the crap out of Vision.
Yeah. Which, again, that kind of not killed it for him, but I was kind of like, he should be able to do a lot more than what he's doing.
The entire Avengers cast, those two should be the most powerful.
Yeah. And those two together. Yeah. So then after that, we are Guardians, yes.
Yeah, Guardians are introduced.
So they
get that distress call from the Asgardian ship.
So we see they get Thor, they swoon over him like everyone else does.
Introduced only song in the soundtrack.
Yeah. And that's when now the Guardians are going to split up. We got Rocket, Groot, and Thor Rocket, Teen Groot, and Thor going to, I can't even remember what it's called, Nidavellir.
Nidavellir.
Yeah, that is where
Mjolnir was created.
And it's the heart of a dying star.
Yes.
Where there's a
universe's mightiest weapons are forged.
Which we find out where the gauntlet was forged.
Which creates a huge continuity error with the rest of the movies.
They don't say when it was forged.
Well, yeah, they acknowledge that. Yeah, they acknowledge that the Infinity Gauntlet we saw back in Thor and in Ragnarok was a fake. Right. That's cool.
But at the end of
Avengers Age of Ultron, Thanos puts it on and says, I'll do it myself. Now, unless that was just like a fans, it's going to happen, or they messed up the continuity.
Well, but again, yeah, it's probably, or they could have been like, this is like that. I'll do it myself happened. Yeah. 20 minutes before. Yeah. And they just showed it years earlier.
If it happened like Ragnarok, all that stuff was going on, like Heimdall, who sees all, would have known that those guys are being under attack.
Exactly.
These guys should go help them. If it's during the fight and the destruction of Asgard and Ragnarok, probably explains why no one saw it coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, other than that scene again might have just been paying lip service to the fans.
Yeah, because they're like, they
also retconned the timeline for Spider-Man: Homecoming, because that, like, the very first scene with
8 years later.
Yeah, and then they mentioned that in this one that attack on New York was 6 years.
Yeah,
which it was if you go in the MCU timeline of 2012 and 2010, and then
I thought I saw an interview where they kind of admitted they were just like, yeah, we don't know where that came from. It wasn't 8 years.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Would make him a little bit older too, instead of being 15. If he's supposed to be the kid in Iron Man 2 that tries to stop because that was
2010.
Yeah, 2010, I think. Yeah,
I think so.
So yeah, it should be 6 years.
Yeah, and so then we go there, find out that Thanos came and not only destroyed half of the giants, but all of them except for one, and took the main one, his hands away, so he couldn't forge anything else. Somehow he's still able to forge a new weapon for Thor, which is awesome. It is a sweet Stormbreaker axe.
Stormbreaker.
And I thought that was a pretty cool scene, getting the star going again and holding the thing open to get all the materials. I thought that was just a well done. Groot, I thought he would do more in this movie, but I guess he's a teenager.
He was giving his arm to be the arm of the axe for Stormbreaker.
Yeah, and
outside of that, nothing else really, except for the final battle scene.
A couple of shots in the final scene.
So when those guys are there, you have Quill, Drax, Gamora, Mantis going to nowhere to stop Thanos from getting the
Reality Stone.
Yeah.
So the Reality Stone, or the Ether, is on Nowhere. We know that because at the end of Thor 2, they give the Ether to the Collector.
Yes.
And we've also seen the Collector in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, where they go, and that's where we it's like one of the first times we learn about the Infinity Stones, right? Like what they're all about. And we get there and we see Thanos threatening the Collector for the stone.
Oh yeah, and slightly before that, you have Gamora making Quill make that promise about not letting Thanos get a hold of her, so he asks her to kill him. Which we then kill her. Sorry, which we then also learned that I guess between movies they are now in a relationship.
Yeah, I guess so.
Sure,
it seems like it was. Well, I mean, it seems like it was building.
Well, that also seems to be the case with these movies, because don't forget, after in the second Avengers, you find out that Civil War. You're right. That Tony and Pepper broke up, and then Thor and Jane broke up. But then in Homecoming, Tony and Pepper are back together now, and then this one now they're engaged.
Yeah,
and
then, I don't really mind that, because the romance stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough
being in there, but they kind of just do throwaway lines and
we're broken up, guys.
Like,
next movie.
By the way,
we're getting married, guys.
Yeah.
I've had 4 kids since the last movie, guys.
And so we get there. Thanos is Collector, and Gamora, tries to stop him and does, and it's crazy. We're like, oh shit, Gamora got him.
Well, let's go. Movie's over. Now we're in.
Yeah. But of course, Thanos knew she would come. He set that all up, and using the Reality Stone, which he already had, pretty much takes her, because he finds out that
incapacitates Drax and Mantis, and then Quill tries to honor.
This is another one of those things too, and it's Peter Quill's kind of actions in the movie. First of all, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand why Thanos, uses the Reality Stone on Drax and Mantis, but not kind of toys with Quill a little. He doesn't do anything. He says, "Fine, go ahead, try and shoot her, try and kill her, whatever," and then turns the bullets or lasers into bubbles. When he doesn't really do that with anyone else. Like, he doesn't. He'll fight Tony Stark. He'll fight Spider-Man. He'll fight Doctor Strange. But with Quill, he's always kind of just toying with him, leaving him alive, and not really messing with him at all. So I never really got that. But that's fine, I guess.
For the purposes of it.
Yeah, obviously it's for the movie.
It's another one of those plot devices, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like he's got his hand on his throat and she's like, "No, please don't." Like, that's one thing. But yeah, like you said, he just willy-nilly. Go. Yeah. Kill her. You're the boyfriend. Kill her.
It's fine. Do it.
And then he throws, "I like him," after he does pull the trigger.
Yeah. And then he kind of just leaves, and he leaves the other three, but it's because he wants Gamora. Gamora's his favorite of all his stolen children.
You know what? Of all the pieces I've stolen, you're my favorite. My little one.
And then is that when we get backstory on Thanos and Gamora? Or have we had that already? Oh, we get that.
Yeah, I think it's like an in between.
No, yeah, we get that right away. Or there might be another scene.
Yeah, I think she
because they're in his
goes off. I think that's when we get we jump to when Steve brings Vision and all them back to Avengers compound.
Yeah,
for a little brief thing with Thunderbolt Ross, and then Banner's back and explains what's going on with Thanos. And I think when we jump back to Gamora, it goes to that and then shows her talking to Thanos
Nebula.
Then we go into Nebula being tortured for information on
the whereabouts of missiles. Just torture. Information. Yeah.
But that's a good dialogue scene that I found with those two, is when he's trying to explain between like what he's done and what he's trying to do, and he's trying to accomplish. He went to her planet where she was growing up that was was overpopulated. There was very little resources. Like, you say I stole you, but really I saved you, and then I saved your race. Like, they're thriving now because of what I did.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got I wouldn't say a god complex,
but his motivation is not just I want to kill people.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to kill people.
No,
he just knows it's a means to justify the ends, right?
Right. Which is something we talked about before too, where I was like, if getting all the stones lets you do pretty much whatever you want, instead of wiping out half the population, why can't we just double the resources? And I think apparently that's not a doable thing. That's the one thing the stones can't do.
The population growing out of control and getting rid of these resources or using up all these resources. If you just double the resources, you're not learning from the mistakes you made before.
Yeah, that could be
sacrifices. I guess again, that's his thinking behind it all.
Yeah, and it's not a bad not promoting genocide here.
Not talking about World War II here,
but it makes sense. His thinking is kind of look, if there are
go back to
people resources, they'll learn to ration it out a little better.
Yeah, and if you go back to the point with like toying with Quill, like he doesn't, like if you think about it, he kills when he deems it's necessary. Like he doesn't take out. He could have killed Drax, and Mantis doesn't. Just messes with reality and incapacitates him. Messes with Quill. It's not until he's really pushed over the edge with the fight on Titan that he decides he's going to take somebody out. But like throughout this movie, and even like the final battle scene on Wakanda, he's not killing anybody.
No, he's just trying to get to the one thing that he wants to get to.
Then he kills half the universe.
But that's
neither here nor there.
Yeah, that's way over there.
Yeah. So when he's with Gamora, he wants to know. He says to her that he's not sad that she failed finding the Soul Stone. Is that he's sad that she did, because he knows what he has to do now. And then we then see that he's got Nebula like all basically taken apart and being tortured, and
I thought was a pretty cool scene. Like just the way they did the whole
because like from straight on she looks normal, but then camera moves just a tad, and it's like, oh geez, she's like
it reminded me
three-dimensional puzzle.
It reminded me of all of the Iron Man sequences where he's got his hologram stuff and he kind of is, he kind of like explodes a suit or whatever, and it's like spread out in all its pieces.
Yeah.
But then it was like a half of a real person and other half machine. But like I thought it was a pretty cool way of doing it. And then
through the torture, Gamora says that the Soul Stone is on Vormir, another planet that up until this point has never been said.
Yeah.
It's on Tatooine. Please don't blow up not Alderaan. May 5 already.
They don't have any guns. But so then we go there and we get a surprise character from our past. Red Skull.
Woo!
From Captain
and my
America.
Favorite is, I'm sure like anyone who brought their wives or girlfriend or casual viewing friend had to lean over and go, "That's Red Skull."
Yeah,
he was in the 100%. First Captain America.
Yeah. No, like just such such a very forgettable villain.
Yeah, he's from 13 movies ago.
Yeah, absolutely had to do that, and it was just I was like, oh, that was fun, but he never really explains. I mean, in Captain America, he tries to hold the Tesseract and gets just
for a second there he's able to do it, right? Which is few people can do.
Exactly. And then he's transported away, and that's all we kind of see of him. And that's why he was always listed as one of like the most useless villains. He didn't really do a lot. But then we find out that he was transported to Vormir, and now he is the keeper of the Soul Stone, or the guardian of it.
Yeah, that's his punishment for trying to wield the power of the Tesseract.
And we find out that to get the Soul Stone, you have to make the ultimate sacrifice of sacrificing the person you love the most.
Yeah, soul for a soul.
In which Gamora laughs because she's like, "You don't love anyone that much, so you're never going to get this stone." And we find out that actually Gamora is the one that he cares about more than anything, but he knows what he has to do to, he's, his whole thing is the sacrifice to save everything, and he's not exempt from that sacrifice. And it's like, I thought it was pretty, it was pretty good. I enjoyed that arc.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming, to be honest with you. I picked up, I'm like, oh, something's going to happen here.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as she started laughing, I was like, oh no, like she's dead.
Dude.
She's not going to be in Avengers 4.
Oh, bitch, you got Jack, bitch.
And then you're like, oh, that's going to nice.
Over the cliff.
And so he gets the Soul Stone. So now he has 4 of the 6.
Yes, power, space, reality, and soul.
And
and then during this point, we learn that Nebula escapes.
Yes, she's gone. Yeah. She. And then we also get the Guardians on their way to Titan.
Yeah,
I forget why. Just to meet Thanos.
They know again, that's where Thanos is going.
So they get there, and then we get Quill, Drax, and Mantis meeting Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange. And I think one of the best lines in the entire movie, I think you'll back me up on this, is, Quill gets there and he says, "Where's Gamora?" Just all in a rage. "Where's Gamora?" And Iron Man says, "Hold on, I have a question for you. Who is Gamora?" And then Drax comes out.
"I'll do you one better."
Says, he just has to one up everyone. And why is Gamora? Just such a good line. It's just fantastic.
Such a literal,
a oblivious
person.
Yeah. Best line of the movie. And then that's when we figure out they're all on the same side, and they got to figure out a way to stop Thanos. While all this is kind of going on, or while they're trying to formulate the plan, Doctor Strange is going crazy. And we find out he is looking at, a bunch of possible futures.
14,705,000.
I thought it was 605.
605. Sorry.
God, come on, stats man. So he goes through, and out of all of those possibilities, and are we to assume that those are all the possibilities, or just, I've looked at this many possibilities?
I think, to be honest, my thinking on this is all the possibilities from that point on, because I don't think it's never really been established that he can go back in time to make those changes. I think it's from here on out, these are the possible outcomes that could happen based on everyone's actions.
And he's just looking at Thanos.
Oh, probably, yeah. Again, you have to make the assumption that from the point he starts doing it, that's the possible outcomes from there.
Yeah, and out of all of those, there's one outcome, one future where Thanos doesn't win, which is it's a good story building.
Don't tell me the odds.
Yeah, so it's good story building. And then we get. Are we back on Earth now?
I think at this point here now we're in Wakanda.
Rolling into Wakanda.
Yeah, so Steve and company,
his merry gang,
decide the best place to take. They decide to take Vision there because Bruce says that there's a possibility that through all the AI within Vision, the stuff that Tony put in, Jarvis and the Mind Stone and the Chitauri, all that, there's a possibility that they can forge some sort of artificial intelligence that can survive without the Mind Stone.
Right. But is Vision has some vibranium in him, or no?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is his body's supposed to be vibranium.
Yeah. Right. So then they're like, "Oh, I know a guy who works with vibranium." And they go and they see if T'Challa's sister Shuri can figure something out. She mocks them by being like, "Why didn't you just do it like this the first time?" And
because we didn't think of it.
Yeah, come on, Shuri, chill. And so that's their plan. Is Shuri is going to try and reprogram the link between the stone and Vision as a person to try and remove the stone without actually killing Vision. And that's her storyline for the entire movie.
Yeah,
which is fine. I wish they could have done more because she's like pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But she'll have a lot more to do in Black Panther 2, I'm pretty sure. So that's cool. And then we are back on Titan for like one of the craziest non-Wakanda battle scenes in the movie.
Yeah, because as they are starting to get Shuri working on Vision, Proxima Midnight shows up. All these ships show up, and the battle on Wakanda starts. And then we've then jump back over to Titan where Thanos shows up.
And the plan is to basically just get the gauntlet off of Thanos. And they're going to do that by getting Mantis to kind of put Thanos in a state of relaxation.
Similar to what happened in Guardians 2.
Right. Like and then the other people are going to basically just try and do what they can to get the gauntlet off. And they get really close, except for one line when Peter Quill finds out that Thanos had to kill Gamora and couldn't keep his cool for like
all that rage a hall.
For 2 minutes, he couldn't keep his cool.
At one point, Tony says to him, he says, like, keep cool. Like, we almost got this thing off.
Yeah, like we need a couple more seconds. And this is something, so I tried to avoid a lot of stuff about Avengers. I watched 2 trailers only, and anything that came out after, I didn't watch it. But I was scrolling through my YouTube feed before we went to see the movie, and I saw just one of the videos was like, is Infinity War Peter Quill's fault? And I was like, what the hell? Like, I don't want to see this, obviously. But then this is the scene they're talking about where he says, oh no, like I had to kill Gamora, like she's dead. And Peter can't keep his cool and just start like punching Thanos in the face. Like, what's that going to do? You know, nothing. And that breaks him out of the trance. They're like inches away from getting the glove off, and Thanos gets it back. And then pretty much just destroys everyone. Like, just is beating everyone up without the help of anything.
Big fight sequence, and then I think it's all that's left is down to him and Tony. And that's when Tony gets stabbed. We find out that he's well known in the universe.
Yeah,
because Thanos knows who he is.
But is that because he has the Soul Stone and he knows all the souls now, or has he's like, oh, you're the guy that threw a rocket into my Chitauri army?
Yeah, I think they get him on that space tube.
Yeah,
just watching it on his gauntlet phone.
And then what do we? Oh yeah, this is when we see Doctor Strange has a change of heart and actually does say, spare Tony's life and I'll give you the time stone.
And then he does, and he does.
He does, and he does. Which I guess it makes sense, like you were saying before. Thanos isn't out to just kill for the sake of killing. He doesn't mind, sparing Tony's life to get the stone to, progress in his plan.
If you think about it too, it probably assumes that like at the end of it all, he could very well be wiped out anyway.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Either you die now or you die in 10 minutes.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And then we find out, Tony says, why'd you do that? It's, you're giving him an easy shot at all of them. And
Strange says we're in the end game now.
We're in the end game now. Basically alluding to the fact that this is the one outcome where we win, and I had to do this in order for us to win.
Yeah. And then at that point, we jump back to Wakanda, and everyone's fighting. Bruce is in the Hulkbuster because, again, he can't Hulk out. And going back to when Thor makes Stormbreaker, it's also mentioned that the axe has the ability to activate the Bifrost.
Bifrost, yeah.
Yeah, so then he uses that and he gets back to Earth, ends up in Wakanda, and like has like probably his best action sequence.
He
like,
goes all the totally. He goes totally badass in that, and like I was kind of he was never really my favorite character, but I always enjoyed him. But between Ragnarok and that last sequence on Wakanda, I was like, yo, this guy is like he's jumped up a few spots.
Yeah.
And then halfway through that fight, all of a sudden Thanos shows up.
Oh, we have to mention too. That's when Wanda gets into the action too.
Oh yeah, like, that's right.
Because
that's another thing. Going back to her being underused is like, why does she need to be hanging out, with the stone this entire time? When
it's even said too when she joins the fight and like takes people out, and she's like, but she was up there the whole time.
Yeah, why was she up there the whole time? And then we get Proxima Midnight versus the girls,
ladies,
basically. And she
cage match.
She gets taken out by one of the big spiky wheels. But that's one of those scenes where I'm like, there's like the Black Widow has no chance in this fight. She shouldn't have any sort of leg up in anything here. Like one punch from any of these people should stop her, and somehow she's able to take hits, deliver hits, take spears from people, and whatever. But there's really, I just don't. It's
she's definitely a weak link for sure.
And she doesn't even have her like 9mm, so I don't know.
She's got her little shock bracelets.
She must have lost it in the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So Vision escapes from inside, I guess, I don't know, the palace or whatever in Wakanda. He ends up in the forest. Steve rushes off to save him. They take out Clovis or whatever his name was.
Yeah. Actually, so there's a scene early on when they're discussing what they need to do. So when Captain America and gang go back and meet Rhodey and Banner, and one of the lines that Captain America says is, we're not going, we don't trade lives, or something like that. We don't, I think that's what it was. We don't trade a life, because Vision was basically saying at that point, take the stone out now, destroy it. Yeah, I'll be dead, but we'll be able to save half the universe. And Steve Rogers apparently says,
"No, we're not doing
not
that.
Worth it.
Not worth
not
it.
Worth it.
You're so much better than at least 3 billion people on this planet.
Yeah,
and whatever else is out there."
So he says, "No, we don't trade lives," and then we get a epic matchup between Thanos and Captain America, where somehow Captain America is able to take punches from Thanos and to like
stop his punch.
One of his punch. Yeah, like
in his defense, he had to use 2 hands. So
that's like, true. That's
give it
double.
Up to Thanos, right? Like, not like he stopped with 1 hand.
Yeah.
And he had to go as he's doing it the whole time too.
Thanos is like, eh. And then we get he's about to get killed by Thanos.
Yeah, takes them all out, but like knocks them out. Doesn't
kill them. But then Vision he's out. And
he talks to Wanda about destroying the stone. Finally, Vince convinces her that she's the only one that can do it, and she has to do it because we are out of time.
And she does, but of course it was 2 seconds before Thanos shows up there. And now that he has the time stone, he reverses it back, takes it out of Vision forcefully instead of just
that was pretty brutal. Like with his head like caves in and he grabs it out too. Well, he's got those big chubby sausage fingers, right?
Yeah, that's true. He needs to order away for an Infinity Stone grabbing wand.
Just he smashes the keypad now.
And so now at this point, he has all 6 stones. His Infinity Gauntlet is
lit,
bedazzled up, and then we see the snap, which is cool.
Which is right. Oh, we got to include the whole. As before he does that, is the Stormbreaker comes flying in.
Oh yeah,
into his chest, and then Thor, being all Thor and gangster at this point, he's like, "Yeah, see, told you I'd kill you, bud." And then Thanos leads in and says he should have went for the head, and then snaps his finger.
And then this is where
no one ever goes for the head.
Never. Nope.
Well, you all those movies with people in bulletproof vests and they shoot him in the chest.
Yeah.
Like even Dumb and Dumber was smart enough to go, "What if he shot you in the face?"
Yeah. And even every scene in any Captain America movie where they're just shooting at his shield instead of the rest of his body, like
shoot him in the leg and then he drops the shield and shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
Credits.
Easy. It's like a 4-minute movie. Everyone would see that. So then we get the visual of certain people kind of just disintegrating and floating away, and there's really no rhyme or reason. It's just a random draw, which
eeny meeny miny mo is random.
which still happens to be half the people on all the screen, which is fun.
And the ones remaining are the 6 original Avengers.
Right. But so then that's one of those things that we talked about after the movie where.
Oh yeah, you also mentioned too the Doctor Strange tells Tony like this is how it had to be.
This is how it had to be. Yeah.
There was no other way.
We know that there is another Guardians of the Galaxy movie coming out. We know there's another Black Panther. We know there's another Spider-Man, and Peter Parker is one of the half that doesn't make it. Black Panther,
and he's one of the few that actually sensed it was
coming. Yeah. And then like half of the Guardians, maybe even more, is Peter.
All of them. All of them except for Rocket.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's the Guardian of the Galaxy.
Guardian of the Galaxy. The trash panda of the galaxy. And so like that scene didn't hit as hard for me because I know it's going to be reversed somehow.
No, Gamora scene and the pot when Tony got stabbed, I thought that was it too.
Yeah. And we know that contracts are ending soon for a lot of these actors. So we know that they're either going to die or there's going to be a handing off of the mantle, someone else is going to take over, whatever the case is. So I was expecting, if some of the original Avengers squad died in this movie and then the rest of them died in the next one or whatever, moved on. I was expecting that. So yes, Iron Man dying, I was like, yeah, that's
finally
fine. Yeah, finally. But he is clearly the glue that is holding everything together, and Doctor Strange knows it, and that's why he had to spare his life. So he's going to have a huge role, probably a sacrificing role.
There's 2 small scenes after that you have Thanos, what clearly looks like he's inside the Soul Stone, meeting with little Gamora.
Yeah.
And she asks him if he did it, and he looks remorseful, saying he did. And then she asks him, "What did it cost you?" And he says everything. And then we cut. And then we show him chilling out on the farm watching the sunrise.
Yeah,
just chilling.
And at that point, he is not wearing the gauntlet anymore.
His arm's destroyed.
Yeah.
From the snap.
And
credits.
That's basically it. Roll credits. And then end credit scene, or mid credit, we get
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury.
Hill.
Calling. Disintegrate. That's another thing I kind of didn't get is why it takes certain people longer to fade away than others. Yeah,
when Fury disintegrates, right?
Yeah, you're showing different areas which could be happening at the same time. So one part of Wakanda, there's people in another part, and on Titan and other parts of Earth and whatever. So like that's fine. That could all just be happening at the same time. But in this scene, it's like Maria starts to fade away. Somehow Nick Fury knows exactly what's going on, runs off past a few other people that are disintegrating.
Hits into his pops of the trunk.
Yeah, and of course the one thing he needs is right on top, which is a like special beeper that only calls one person.
Why was that in the glove box or in his jacket? Or
yeah,
I'm gonna keep this beeper in the trunk
just in case we need it. And then so the call to Captain Marvel goes out, and that's where we end the movie. And so Captain Marvel is Ant-Man and the Wasp is the next movie that comes out in a month and a bit, 5 weeks from now.
Yeah, July.
Is it July?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. It's July 6th. Okay, so a month and a bit.
Yeah.
From now. And
which then, takes place before all of this.
Right. Which is why
there's a quick mention about why he's not and Hawkeye is not, because they struck a deal and they're under house arrest or something.
With the government. And then so we have Ant-Man and the Wasp coming out, and then we have Captain Marvel, and then we have the next Avengers movie, which we still don't know the title to.
Right.
Avengers 4, Thanos galore.
Yes.
And that's the movie. So any thoughts on how it could have been better or how it was terrible?
We've talked about before, like the biggest concern was with the cast this big, how it was going to play over the 2.5 hours. But I think separating into groups is what saved the movie from being like a huge disaster.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job bouncing between the groups.
Yeah.
And spent time where they needed to, and kind of not rush through other ones, but they knew it was going to be a long movie, and they knew that they had a lot to get through, so they didn't really add in a lot of fluff, which was awesome. Right.
And like when you need the tonal shift just to lighten the mood, you cut to where you needed to go to, and you got just the right amount, not too much, not too little, and then you jump back and okay, let's get serious time again.
Exactly. I think that's what made the movie so good, was there was a little bit of everything and a lot of action. And because there was so many movies before this that already explained a lot of this stuff, they didn't need to explain anymore. They kind of just jumped right into it, and they're like, if you don't know what's going on, then whatever. Like, you should have watched the movies, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
They basically said if you're along for the ride, you've been on it for a while. You at least know most of what's going on, and we have too much stuff to cover. We're not going to waste it explaining other movies to you. But yeah, I thought excellent movie. I'm excited to probably see it again, not in theaters, but
it actually doesn't come out too far from now. I think it's on VOD in July, and then DVD August.
Yeah, so
quick turnaround despite making like $700 million.
Yeah, it's that's crazy. It's what's it at now? Total.
It's 1.9 billion worldwide.
Okay, yeah, because
very close to passing Force Awakens, which is like 2.07 billion.
Yeah. That's doable. Probably.
Biggest complaints of the movie though? Just Quill's arc?
Yeah, for me, I think it's Quill's, and then also just not having, knowing that some of the people that perished are actually not dead for sure.
Yeah.
And I kind of just, I don't love the time travel to save people stuff in movie. Like I just feel like there's very few movies that do time travel well. And
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future is really the only one that does it well. And I'm okay with the time travel like 2 seconds into the past, like how Thanos does, 2 seconds into the past to get the stone.
And, or like a Doctor Strange where
they
go back just to rectify the conflict.
Yeah, they're and stuff like that. Where so I'm okay with that kind of time travel. I feel like in this one they're going to be going back.
We're assuming, we don't know for sure.
That's true. We don't know travel. Yeah, it could be alternate realities.
Yeah, exactly. Alternate realities.
Yeah,
because like that was established. Doctor Strange, right? It's a multiverse. Yeah. Maybe they go and pluck a Steve Rogers from Earth 2.
Yeah, and he's
the same but different.
Yeah, maybe Spider-Man Earth 1 dies, but Spider-Man Earth 2 survives, and you go that way. Other than that, I thought it was excellent. I thought that the humor was spot on, action was great, the story was good, and other than that, I thought it was a great movie. And Ryan, you should see it.
Yes,
for once.
For once in your life, listen.
For once in your damn life. What about you? Any other different complaints? Oh, I have one more.
Oh, please.
The soundtrack was weak. One song.
There was one song.
And and then there was. What was it? Was
it was
what was the Black Panther theme?
Yeah, and Rubber Band Man.
Rubber Band. But yes, that's even though they were both great songs, I just thought it was a bit lacking.
Come on, Chris, original score. Yeah, pretty much the same. I'm on the anti-Quill, but at the same time, I can see making real life judgment errors at stupid times. That he's known for doing that.
That's true. I guess my other thing is, that so I heard someone else talking about it and it made sense, was when they're on Nowhere and he's about to shoot her. I feel like, at that point you get to the point where you've come to terms with what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
and what needs to happen, which is Gamora dying. But then when you find out that you weren't the one to do it, that's when you get, obviously you're upset about it. That's not up for debate. But, as soon as Thanos takes her, not as soon as, but at that point, he's got to assume that that's it for Gamora. And so kind of to find out later and then be upset that I don't know, not upset that he was the one not to do it or that she wasn't able to be saved, but he was going to kill her anyway an hour ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, without that, the plot doesn't move forward. So
yeah. And I think too, he watched his mom die when he was a kid.
Yeah.
He killed his own father. He then saw his,
that was a pretty good line too. And when him and Thor are trying to one up each other, or Thor doesn't care, but he's trying to one up Thor.
So his dad died. His mom got killed by a dark elf. His brother was killed. It's well, my mom died. I killed my dad. His quasi dad died saving him. So they should be really good friends, really.
It's true.
Have parental issues.
And that's it. I'm really excited for the next one. I don't know if they can make it better, or I don't know if it's
well, we just know. I think we just know for sure at this point is the ones that perished are coming back. So we know the ones that are left are the ones that are going to go, and those are the ones that we spent the last 10 years getting to know and
welcome into our homes.
Yes, so many times, spends countless hours,
money,
and so it'll be tough to see those guys go.
Yeah, but another thing, I'm very excited to see what they do with the new characters, because that was, I think, one of the reasons Guardians, I mean, apart from it just being a great movie with great soundtrack and everything, the reason I liked it a lot was I went into it blind. I didn't know their story at all. Never read Guardians comics, and while I didn't read a lot of Thor comics, I at least had some background on him. Same with Iron Man, Doctor Strange, all that kind of stuff. Like I knew their characters at least a little bit. With Guardians, it was nothing. I went in completely blind, and it blew me away, and it was awesome. And so pretty much all the new characters they're introducing. I knew a bit of Ant-Man, but I don't know anything about Wasp. Captain Marvel, Nova, if it comes up, and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm very excited for that because I'm going in without any knowledge of, kind of what potentially could happen because I read it in a comic. So that part I'm pretty excited about. I'm not excited about, potential fatigue. I haven't felt the fatigue yet for superhero movies, but I feel like it's going to be a lot harder sell now to have kind of no-name superheroes, like to get people to go see a movie that is essentially starting off a new wave of stories and not just continuing on the Avengers track, where I could go see Doctor Strange or Black Panther not knowing anything about them, but know that it's part of this big universe. Whereas, after Captain Marvel comes out, whatever they do, it's not part of a new universe, but kind of a new universe that, at this point, I don't have anything invested in that, but I'm still excited.
10 years ago, they started a big empire and universe around C grade superheroes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they started digging into the well and pulling out like D and Z grade with Guardian. And I can look where they are now.
Falcon and all those characters.
Yeah, like if you don't know Captain America, you don't know who Winter Soldier is.
Yeah. And they crushed it with Winter. Like, he's an amazing character. We didn't even talk about him at all.
Is the White Wolf.
The White Wolf. He did well, though. He has a new arm now. That's pretty cool.
He's good.
And that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that's it. Spoilercast. Yeah. Because Vibranium does whatever you want it to in that moment.
You can make a shirt. You can make pants. You can make a sophisticated suit that absorbs energy.
Kinetic energy.
And these beads that cure everything, apparently.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
But that's a different movie.
That's coming out in 2 years.
Black Panther 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
No, it's Black Panther 2, Vibranium Boogaloo.
There you go.
That's right. So I guess the only other spoiler cast we would probably be delving into is what, Jurassic World 2?
I think so. Jurassic World.
Kingdom?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's really on our radar.
Like there's Solo.
Well, that's in June, right? So
that's a few.
Ant-Man's July.
And yeah, these will be
Star Wars this year in December.
No. So, but we can spoiler cast older movies too. We'll figure it out. These are going to be.
Ever seen this movie called Wizard of Oz?
Is Doctor Strange in that one? he's the wizard, right?
right. Pretty much. The Sixth Sense.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll do more of these. No,
TV shows.
These will be more random.
Yes.
All right. That's it.
That's all. Spoilers done.
Call us out.
Bye.
Bye.
That's Open Callers Spoilercast for Avengers Infinity War. I'm Corey Willis. He's Vishal Sheth. Keep it casual.